Hello and welcome to this Center Code training video talking about building your collaborative resources. And in this video we'll be focusing on configuring your wikis. So in this video you'll learn when collaborative resources are beneficial and some of the benefits thereof. We'll also talk about developing a framework for your wiki, setting this up for your testers to contribute. Within the Nighthawk project store, this is part of your pre-launch resources, something that you're going to want to consider prior to your launch and get set up for your testers for whenever they actually land in your project as testers. So to start off, let's talk about some of the benefits of collaborative resources. First off, for anything documentation-oriented or organic, providing your testers the ability to contribute to the creation of some of these documents can be incredibly beneficial for you. They're best with small controlled projects or contributed to by special consideration testers. So if you have a star testers group or an experts group or something like that, then you can provide access to the collaborative resources like wikis for building out resources like frequently asked questions or a series of pages pertaining to general knowledge. Now, beyond utilizing these resources for creating your own documentation and having the collaborative effect of gathering information from your actual customers pertaining to what information they find valuable, wikis also help you evaluate key documentation topics. Topics, for instance, where your product might be a little bit unclear or confusing. Allowing your testers to have access to creating this documentation allows them to focus on things that they find valuable. So for example, if your instructions for a particular resource or a particular function aren't quite fleshed out, more than likely your testers are going to notice this and provide collaborative documentation wherein they can add in how to utilize particular items. If there's some skill level or perhaps tips and tricks to be considered when utilizing your product, you can also allow your testers to provide that kind of information as well. Your more skilled testers can provide documentation helping out your less skilled testers to be able to perform functions that they normally might not have been able to. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the Nighthawk project, and we'll be looking at the project tools page. From here within the Nighthawk project, I actually have the wikis hidden because I'm not currently using them within my site, but I'd like to go ahead and start using one for some collaborative documentation, perhaps a frequently asked questions. As such, I'm going to click on the wikis tool, and you can see a loadout of the different wikis I have developed within my site. So as you can see here, I have a support FAQ already set up that just needs to be activated, but let's go ahead and create a new wiki so we can step through that process. So we'll say customer FAQ, a short description if you see fit, a home title. In this case, I want my home title to be my table of contents. We have a couple of display options to choose from here. You can include the link to this particular wiki on the project homepage. You can also include it in the project menu on the left-hand side there. You can choose to show the project menu when actually viewing the wiki itself or not, so making it look like it's its own wiki, its own site. You can also show the author name, whereas username is usually displayed. Regarding the width, you have options of narrow, wide, and full, similar to the way a survey is shown. Functional options allows you to choose some other types of settings, for example, allowing wiki formatting, allowing file attachments, exposing wiki page list to non-managers, which basically allows your non-managers or your testers to view a full list of all the pages, which includes orphan pages that don't currently have links to them. You can also expose wiki statistics to non-managers, thereby showing your top contributors, your top moderators, etc. And you can also utilize locations, which basically puts a numerical hierarchy like 1.2, 1.3, 2.2, 2.4, etc. And it's particularly useful for exporting these particular pages and keeping track of where they go. Under advanced options, you can set a wiki header and footer. Under the team access block, you have extensive options for choosing which teams have access to which functionality. For example, you can set view, create, modify, publish, and manage functionality. Now in this case, if you don't want your testers to finalize any changes or publishings, then you can simply check that off for this particular groups and only allow internal members and project managers to publish particular pages. So if you're worried that perhaps their information won't be entirely true or they won't have the whole story, you can allow them to create and modify pages and come in later and effectively approve of their pages. Once they're approved, then they'll be included within the wiki. Along the bottom you have comment access, which effectively works very similar to the way a forum is set up. You can comment, mark mod, and moderate, and you can set your accesses accordingly. Once you're finished, go ahead and hit submit. Now you can see there the first page, the FAQ table of contents page. And from here you can access that page and follow typical wiki formatting to creating your new pages. We have the formatting reference here for easy access, or quick reference down on the bottom. Clicking on that expands the quick reference menu, and you can see how to create new pages, link attachments, and change your inline formatting. You can also choose to attach a file to this particular page. Again, once you have these resources initially set up, typical wiki formatting applies. So creating new pages, formatting, etc., you'll use the standard wiki functionality. So in this video, we covered when collaborative resources are beneficial for your particular project, specifically regarding when it's important to gather user input, or perhaps utilize their input for evaluative purposes, like what topics need additional attention within your documentation. We also talked about developing a framework for your wiki, setting up user access, moderate access, etc., and creating those first pages. So of course, we have more videos coming up finalizing those pre-launch resources, so stay tuned.